Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Kelly Levine, the Closet Coach. I help professional organizers, designers, cabinet makers, and extremely talented DIYers design custom closets just like the pros. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. I worked on a closet with a client a couple of years ago that was probably my favorite project. And there was a couple of unique things about it. One is that it was a large room. Number two, it was kind of odd shaped. And number three, she wanted it set up like a glamorous dressing room. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you guys the shape. So we're going to talk about designing closets in, large, kind of odd shaped spaces. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys what you could do, just on a very simple basis. So if you were a DIYer or if you didn't want to invest, $25,000 in a closet, and then I'll show you the fun stuff, all the glamorous stuff that we did for her closet. So if this is your first time watching, I don't go over the basics every time, but there are 4 videos at the beginning of this series that, kind of show you how to measure, how to take inventory, which is the most important thing. And I also have a link for an inventory worksheet in the bio here. And it shows you how to draw this using simple graph paper. So you don't need a scale or anything like that. You can do it all with a pencil and a piece of graph paper. But go back and watch those if you get confused about how I'm drawing things. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead right away here and share the screen. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see this. I gotta move this thing. I didn't have an exact inventory for her because, like I said, she wanted it to be pretty glamorous, but there were some things, some outlines that we had, and we kind of knew things were, gonna fit other than the shoes. She wanted space for about 50 pairs of shoes or more. Lots of jewelry, and I'll talk about that. And then she did have some, dressier shirts and things like that were going to be hung up. Most of what was going to be in this space was gowns, fancy dresses for balls and things like that. She also wanted room to display purses, and then kind of an odd thing, some workout clothes, and those were of course going to be behind doors, but she wanted a space for folded workout clothes that could be put in bins and things like that. So those were kind of the perimeters of what I had to work with, and this was the shape of the room. So as we're looking down from the top, right here is where the door was. And there was originally a door here. And there were doors on this back closet that opened like French doors. But she had all of those doors taken off. And so it was really, an open space here. And I knew this was going to be open there. This is actually, considered a bedroom. And so it had a closet in the back. But you can see right here, the ceiling in the back of the closet wasn't full height. It was only 63 inches. So that wasn't going to be high enough to hang, like ball gowns and things like that. And then here's a couple other things. We've got a large, large window in the room. And you can see there was 30 inches from the floor to the bottom of the trim. But the window was 164 inches by 69 inches high. So it was a large window there. These are all of my outlets. Okay, and then this was the light switch. Okay, so when you're looking at a room like this and you're thinking, wow, this is a big space, there's tons of room to hang clothes, what you need to remember is that, this is quite narrow over here. So as we've talked about before, any clothes that would be hanging on either of these walls are, basically going to be blocking that closet. So we're not going to use this for hanging. This wall right here is really the ideal space for hanging. And if you were doing this in a simpler fashion, you could maybe do some hanging here and then some hanging here. But that's not how we did it. So I'm going to show you how to set this up very similar to the way we did, except for I'm not going to do all the glam on top of it until the end when I show you what I actually did. Okay, so again, here there's only 21 inches. If you had to, you could do hanging clothes here. I would potentially do some lower hanging. In other words, either just a bottom, a regular shirt type hanging, and then with shelves above, or a dress hanging, something that's below eye level, unless you've got a ton of hanging. Again, all of this goes by inventory, but in this case there wasn't, the inventory was more dresses, purses, shoes. And then I knew that she wanted quite a bit of shelving for these workout clothes, and the purses. So here's what I would do based on what I did for her. With this window there, and the other thing that she wanted was a bench, but I'm going to show you how you can do a real simple bench if you don't want to go to the expense of having a really large bench. So whenever you've got a window, I like to think about, what's the symmetry on either side of the window going to be? So right away, I knew that I was going to be putting the shoe shelves on either side of that window. And in measuring her shoes, they were all dress shoe style. And so I knew 21 inches, 21, 22 inches was going to be plenty of space to get 3 pair of shoes and not have it look, overly crowded. And then because of, this corner being only 58 inches, I didn't want to go, super deep, because I don't like to butt things right up to a window. So I'm going to leave, 3 or so inches on each side of that window. So that's what we're going to start with here. We're going to start with some shoe shelves, and those don't need to be real deep. She wants to be able to see her shoes. So we're going to go 21, so 22 and a half. So we've got a shoe shelf there. And then on this wall, we've got another shoe shelf. The other thing that's nice about this is that we're not getting too close to that closet. All right. So we've got shoe shelves there. We already know that we're going to do the hanging on this wall. She also wanted a mirror. But if you are setting this up for dresses and, double hanging, if you want to get as much hanging as you can in there, depending on your inventory, with dresses, it's going to be 114 inches worth of dresses, or, slightly less by the time we subtract material. But, we're going to have, if we've got 114 inches, we can get 3 sections in here that are, equally spaced, that are going to be about 36, 39 inches, something like that. Okay, so let's get these more evenly spaced. So, something like that. We're going to have 3 sections of hanging. Then this wall right here, so the other thing that she did, like I said, was she wanted a bench under the window. But if you don't want to do a bench under the window, you could still do open shelving under the window, and then, put a top on it and make it, let's say 16 inches deep or 18 inches deep. I'm just going to draw it, real simply. And that window is 124 inches, and then we left about 3 inches on each side. So we've got 130 inches. I'm going to divide that by 4. That would give you 4 spaces, 32 inches wide, which is going to be, you know, you're going to have to make sure that that doesn't interfere with that outlet. And I did in my original design. I did not have anything interfering with that outlet there. And I'll draw this in elevation in a minute so that you can kind of see what that looks like. But you could have the underside structure be just 12 inches deep for shoes, more shoes, and then you could have a top be the 16 or even 18 inches deep and create like a bench there. Okay, so then the display for purses and the display for her, for the cabinet for the folded workout clothes, I knew that I was going to put those right here. So this ended up to be, you know, a cabinet here that went in here. And then this part was open shelving for the purses. Okay, so there was 2 shelf units there. The other thing that I forgot to mention was that she wanted an island. Now, normally you cannot do an island unless you've got a full, you know, like 120 inches, which would be down to here, by 120 inches. You really need 10 by 10 to do an island usually. But since I did not have to put any hanging here, and I didn't have to put any hanging here, I could fit an island in. Here's what I normally do when I'm working out an island. I take and I go 24 inches from the edge of the wall. So that's here. And I go 24 inches beyond that for walking. So that would be here. And then this side is only 16 inches. And this side's going to only be 16 inches because I'm going to end up putting another cabinet here. But so we've got 16 and 24. Oops. So I'm going to go 40 inches from the wall. So we've got, you know, right about here. And right about there. And then right about there. So you can see with 24 inches of walking room all the way around, and you guys, this is what people forget about. People forget that you have to be able to walk around this. And 24 inches is the absolute minimum. I really like to have 30 inches. So I'm going to take and I'm going to move each of these in 6 inches. Okay. And this is kind of what I did. I ended up putting an island right here. And I think I made it, I think we wanted to leave a little bit more room over here. So I think we made it 24 or 30 inches wide. Because 24 inches wide is nice. And then, you know, don't forget you're going to have a top on there. So I think what I did is I probably made it 18 inches deep. And then the top, you know, ends up to be 20 something. And then you've got some backer panels on it. So it does get deeper than what you think when you do an island. Okay, so we can get rid of all of those. And then the drawer faces the drawers opened out here toward this way. Okay, and then the other thing, sorry, my granddaughter's playing Legos. If you can hear those in the back, this is a building family. So here's the door. I think I mentioned she wanted a lot of jewelry, so we did another jewelry cabinet right here. And I left that outlet open. Part of the reason that this is a little bit different is that in the glamour closet, and I'll show you in this corner especially, you'll be able to see it. These cabinets actually did have doors, so I had to leave room for the door to open. So if you weren't going to do doors on things, you could go in a little bit closer here and, maybe even get another shelf there. But I'm just going to lay this out for you. It's nice to have some outlets that are accessible. And the other thing about this island, even though there's only 30 inches to walk all the way around it, this is low, this is like 37 or 38 inches high. This is the same 38 inches high. So as you walk in, there's nothing impeding your sight up here. So this does not seem tight, having that, because these are actually down below. Okay, and then the other thing that we did was we put a giant hook wall here, put a giant thing there so that she could hang decorative things there. So this was all hooks. I think we spaced them 9 inches apart, but you can decide based on what you're going to hang how far you want those to be apart. And then I did short hanging in the closet, and I've already got that elevation drawn up so you can see what that ended up to be. But so you kind of see how this is working out. Let's take a look at the elevations now. So here is the main wall. This is the main wall where we did, the focal wall when you walk in, where we're doing a bench and we're doing the shoe shelves. So let's draw those in. I'm going to just draw these simple up to 96 inches. We actually went to the ceiling and did crown. And again, I'm going to show you some pictures of that. But if you were doing this on your own, or you were hiring a company to come in and do this dressing room, you could definitely get it 96 inches tall. And we've got that coming in there. So we've got, so we've got the shoes here. And for this closet, we did all, slanted shoe shelves. So you don't get quite as many in, but it's, very glamorous and cool. Don't like the way that does that. I'm just going to draw these in because otherwise don't really like that about this program. So for slanted shoe shelves, depending on the height of the shoes, you typically need, about 8 3/4 between each shelf. So it does take away, and they're because they're slanted, they're generally fixed in there. You can move them, but it's a lot more difficult. So yeah, I know I only got 9 shelves or 9 spaces in here. So if you've got, like platform shoes or something like that you're, or heels, make sure you think that through as to how much room you need for each shelf so that you don't design these shelves and then you can't get your shoes in there easily. So we're going to have one of these on each side of the window. And again, leave a little bit of space. I usually leave at least 3 inches. I don't like the look of the window being, crowded. Okay, and then the way to do a simple bench would be, oh, you know what? This was not 18 inches tall. Usually these outlets are right around 16 high, but a typical bench height is 18 inches. If you've got an outlet that's up higher than that, your bench is going to be high. So keep that in mind, but the top of the bench is typically at 18 inches. And then you're going to have your structure underneath that. And I'm just going to... Don't put a structure right in front of an outlet. So make sure your math works. And then, the simple way to do this would just be to have a shelf on each side. And you could have a base, as well. I'm not going to take the time to draw that, but I'll show you, in the other one. But, this is a nice way to get tons and tons of shoe storage or, other types of storage. So these are 21 each. Then we've got 9 spaces in each of those. We can fit 3 pair of shoes. So we've got 54 pairs there. And we said these were going to be each about 32 inches. So you've got 4 pair of shoes, maybe 5 depending on the shoes. But if we figure 8 pair of shoes for each one of those, then we've got another 32 pair of shoes. So, we're getting close to 100 pair of shoes for this thing if we do it that way. And then we've got, our dresses coming over here. This right here is the wall where we're going to do all the hanging. And so that wall is going to be like this. And we're going to do about 3. Hope you guys can't hear all that. She's ruffling through the Legos. All right. So depending on your inventory, you can have whatever kind of hanging you want here. But if it is dresses or gowns, it's going to be a little bit higher rod. And then you're going to have, 1 shelf, maybe 2 above it. But for quickness of drawing this, I'm just going to show 1 shelf. And, we're going to have long dresses there. Okay, so these are each about 38 inches. I can do that exact math, I guess. So we've got 114 inches. We're going to have 4 panels, so we're going to lose 3 inches, and then divide that by 3. We've got 37 inches for each of these. So we've got 111 inches of hanging there, 111 inches of dresses. Okay, if you had double hanging, you could have 222 inches. Or you could have, some mid hanging and some long hanging and kind of mix that up, okay? So that would be the best place to do the hanging in this design. And then this side, we've got the hanging from the back wall. Again, this panel is this right here. And these dresses are hanging out into the space. And then we've got our cabinet here that, you know, we don't want to get too close to the door. But this is our basically it's like a little, you know, nightstand thing. But we did 4 double jewelry drawers in this cabinet. So each one of these drawers was, you opened up the drawer and there was another drawer inside it. So it was like a double jewelry drawer. So lots of jewelry there. You could put a nice mirror here, or whatever, you know, whatever you'd like for that. So, okay, so we've done this wall, we've done this wall, we've done this wall. So next we're going to be looking at that wall. And that one we did, you know, the wall ends here. So I'm going to end the cabinet, you know, a little bit before the edge of the wall. And what we did in this closet, we did some closed cabinet. And then we also did an open cabinet. So, you know, to keep things simple, I'm just going to kind of draw this in. So this one, I think we did have to break it up into 2 doors because we actually went to the ceiling. But this, you know, was a door that opened from this side and opened from there. And then these were open. We actually did glass shelves with mirror in the back. But you could do any kind of shelving to display purses or whatever. And, you know, of course, you could flip this around and have the closed cabinet first, or you could have both of the cabinets closed. You know, there's a number of different things you could do, but you kind of get the idea that we're not crowding this room with a lot of hanging, because it was supposed to be more of a glamorous room and she wanted the island. If this would have been hanging, this would have had to have been moved, you know, over quite a bit or been smaller. Okay, so this, where is it? I didn't want to show these. So this is the little closet. I already drew that out because it was only a 63-inch high closet or high ceiling. This is where I put the mid hanging. She had everything as a base. And here's where I'll start showing you some of the pictures. So this is actually that small closet. So you can see this is where, you know, just the regular hanging is. But we only had 63 inches to here. So we still got in a shelf, and she could use the shelf above for display. And then, like I said, she did a decorative base at the bottom. These pictures are all, I'm going to give credit to Closet Factory Minneapolis. That's who I worked for. And that's who built and installed this closet. So you can see here, one of the bookshelves or one of the shoe shelves. And these are what the slanted, you know, shoe shelves look like. And then here was the bench that she did. One thing that I wanted to point out, and I'll show you, let's look at some pictures. So here's that same picture of the small closet. Here's the first shoe shelf, and here's the bench. You can see the bench come down here. There's the island. And then here's the other shoe shelf. So let's go around the corner one more time. Here's the first cabinet for dresses that we did. And and she wanted a mirror in the middle, so we gave up that hanging. Again, this was supposed to be more of a glamorous room. So this is different than what I drew, and the reason is that we have doors here, and we've got, you know, a shoe shelf. So what happens when you're doing that? And I just really want to show you this so you can think this through. When you've got, I'm going to just grab this. Grabbed a lot more. When you've got this here, you know, you can't have something enough back here to have a door that's going to open here. So when you're looking in plan view, what has to happen is that you've got to actually give up a corner here. So I actually, what I did was the cabinets, when you're going to have doors on them, have to be 24 inches deep. And so what I did was I moved these cabinets down to there. So really, and because of those columns and everything, this got a lot, you know, this got a lot wider. So, you know, we had 3-inch columns. So the space on the inside stayed the same, but the outside got wider. And that's another thing that you have to keep in mind when you're, you know, going glam. You know, you lose some space. So basically, this is what I want to point out. In order to have those doors and to have those shoe shelves like that, we had to give up this corner where I put that X there. We had to give up that corner so that when this cabinet right here had doors on it, they could open. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, just something to think about. So let's take a look again at how that looks in real life. So here's where they meet. In other words, this cabinet isn't going behind those shoe shelves. It's actually creating a corner. And then, you know, depending on your, you know, your building constraints, typically these mirrored doors, you know, they can't be, you know, 100 inches high. So these are 72-inch doors with, you know, clear open glass. So I put a drawer at the bottom so that we could lift that up a little bit. And then we had doors on the top. She had her electrician put lighting in. This is really just a decorative setback, and there's a base down here for the mirror area as well. And then another matching cabinet on the other side for more dresses. And then here's the top of so here's the island piece. You can see both of those cabinets and then the mirror in the middle. Here's the island, or I mean all those jewelry drawers. And then here is the cabinet for her workout clothes. Oh, I guess I did put double doors on that. And then here are the glass shelves with the mirror in the back for purses and things like that. And I don't think I have a picture of the hooks, but that wall that's right here, you know, beyond as you're walking by, has a beautiful long row of, you know, really awesome hooks. So, This is the glamorized version, but you can, with drawers underneath instead of open shelving. And then, she had a gorgeous top made for it. But you can see that if you've got a room, if you've got a little bit less of a budget, you can still get a really nice, layout and glamorous looking room using, just more basic things. And, really it's the shoes and everything that you put in it are what's going to make it look so fun anyway. So I hope this was fun for you guys to see how you can, take a room that's kind of odd shaped, make it look really glamorous and fun, or keep it really simple. All right, I'm going to stop my share here. All right, so I want to thank you all for joining me today. As always, if this is like crazy out of your wheelhouse and you can't figure out what I'm saying, but you want a closet designed, there is a link below that you can contact me for that. If you are starting a project, please download the inventory worksheet. That's free. Know what you're going to be putting in the closet before you start your design. And if you are interested in learning closet design, there's also a link below for that. All right, hope you guys have a great week. We did sell our house. We are moving to Idaho, so I will do my best. You can see I'm not in my office anymore. Everything is cleaned out there, so I'll do my best to keep doing at least one video a week, but I really appreciate, you guys that ask questions and let me know what you're working on and how I can help. Okay, thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.